Okay, so we start at the base under the PK karate chop point. Even though I am distressed about this hard issue in my history, and the generational impact of it, I still deeply love and completely accept myself. Even though this major issue is still with me, and I see it affect the next generation just as I saw it in the generation before, I love myself. I approve of myself. I accept myself. Even though I'm grappling with this hard issue and its generational impact, I still deeply love and completely accept myself. Okay, so everybody, please be sure that you have a specific issue in mind. All right, so we start at the crown. I'm so sick of this issue, and sometimes I hate it. Inner eyebrow. We're just doing negatives now. I'm sick of it, and sometimes I wish anything but this were my heart issue. Outer eye. It is just so painful. Under the eye. It just feels so hard. The stakes feel so high. Under the nose. I hate watching my children grapple with any part of this. Chin point. And sometimes I blame myself like it's my fault. By the way, if what I ever say does not apply, just say the last thing that was said, say your own thing, tweak my words anytime. Okay, let's go under the clavicle round. It just feels overwhelming to see it as a generational problem. And really, it's a humanity problem. Okay, side of the ribs. This is right here now, and I just feel all its density and pain. And right now, I'm especially sad for my child. And let's go to the crown. We're going to start reaching for better feeling thoughts. In this moment, I'd like to just begin to accept that this is my issue. Inner eyebrow. And maybe it can help to remember it's an issue of humanity. I'm not that unique. Outer eye. And I'm not sure how it works, but I believe in generational healing. Under the eye, upper cheekbone. And I'm willing to show up for my part. even when I'm groping in the dark. Under the nose. I've definitely made progress in this topic. Chin point. And feeling really bad is not a measure of progress. It's okay that it's spiking right now. I've still made progress. Under the clavicle round. I've also watched my children make progress, or my child make progress, or my whoever make progress. And sometimes I fear for them. Okay, side of the ribs. Just right now, I release them to their journey. Right now, I accept their journey. Crown point. Right now, I acknowledge that I got the exact right child to raise. And I honor that I love that child with all my heart. Inner eyebrow. And maybe it's true that we made a soul contract. And they signed up for the same issue I have. Outer eye. I know I can't control their journey. I can't even control mine. Under the eye. And I also know I can keep showing up. And I'm willing to keep showing up. Under the nose. I am not giving up on my child. And I will not abandon myself. Okay, chin point. And just right now, I send a blessing back down the generations that came before. I send love. I send at least the intention for retroactive healing. And I breathe. Under the clavicle round. I don't have to figure out how this all works. And I breathe that idea. Side of the ribs. And I don't need to control how my child moves through this. I don't need to see them as a victim. I know that does them no good. Back to the crown. I don't need to prevent or ensure anything. Inner eyebrow. I will do my own work. I am committed to doing my own work. I've been doing my own work. Outer eye. I am in the evolution, and my child is going to blow me out of the water. That's how it works. Under the eye. I'd like to send them love and blessings, not worry. Under the nose. Right now, I just breathe and feel my alignment with this precious soul. We are forever connected. Chin point. Right now, I cast a vote for my child's ongoing healing, evolving journey. I breathe, imagining that. Under the clavicle, I'd like to spend less time imagining them floundering. Without denial, I'd like to spend more time imagining them thriving. I see them standing on their own 2 feet. Side of the ribs. It's okay if they seem to go backwards sometimes, just as I have. It's okay if they hit rock bottoms, just as I have. I'm going to keep imagining their healing and growth and thriving. Okay, we're going to close on the crown. My commitment to my own healing can support me to be more present to my child, whether I'm with them or not, to their pain, to their brilliance and their progress, and to my amazing guidance system that lets me know when to check in, when to send blessings, when to send an encouraging message, when to shut up and listen. And I'm here to keep growing that. And I trust what is larger than me that holds all of this. Now, we just close our eyes for a moment. I like to place my hands cupped, one on top of the other, palms up on my lap, and just breathe. Feel into the quality of the breath post-tapping. Breathe it as fully as it wants you to breathe it without manipulation. And just feel the reverberations of the tapping, the vibrations. Just check in with how you feel now compared to before. And this is also a good time to just tune into whether something came up that felt sticky or that was too much of a reach. And that can sometimes be your operating instructions for the next tapping to just go right into or to do later. Or further inquiry or other processes that you might want to use. Okay, so let's open our eyes. I'm going to pause the recording. Okay. So we start the setup under the line at the base of the pinky, tapping the karate chop point. Even though I'm in this divorce story and the whole court thing, and it feels awful to me and my children or child, I deeply love and completely accept myself. Even though I'm feeling like I'm up against this huge broken system, and some of my agency is taken away as I do this, I deeply love and completely accept myself. Even though this messy divorce story is never what I imagined for myself, it's happening, and I love myself. I accept myself. Okay, so let's go to the crown. This is so messy and ugly and awful. Kind of hate it. Inner eyebrow. And sometimes I'm feeling helpless and small. And sometimes I'm huge and raging with anger. Outer eye. And I don't understand why it needed to get this contentious and ugly. But it is that. Under the eye. And I'm glad that I'm talking to people about it and airing my actual feelings instead of shoving it down. Under the nose. And I'm also torn about the impact on my child. Or keeping it alive for myself in the negative way. Chin point. I really don't know how to move through this. There is no manual. Under the clavicle round. I'm really pissed off that the so-called other party is such an asshole right now. Inside of the ribs. I'm scared of the outcome or how it's all gonna unfold. How long it's gonna take, how ugly it's gonna get. Crown point. Now we're going to start reaching for better feeling thoughts. Right now, I just want to accept that this is what's happening. Inner eyebrow. And I just want to welcome myself to the human race. I'm just one more parent going through this thing. outer eye. And I also know that something in life would require me to face systems, broken systems, the patriarchy, under the eye. So this is as good a thing as any for me to go through. Right now, I breathe the acceptance of that. Under the nose. I would like to apply to this situation all the things I want to apply in my life about growth, about my spiritual journey, about trusting life. Chin point. I'd like to let go of what I can't control. I can't control this journey and how it goes. It's not mine to control. That's the universe's business. Under the clavicle round, I cannot control my ex. It's not my job to. I'd like to let go of even wanting to. I release that one to their life. I release myself to mine. Side of the ribs. I'd like to come back to myself more often, more quickly. I'd like to interrupt useless ruminating and thinking about this topic. Crown point. I'd like to interrupt talking about it and posting about it so that I don't keep amplifying it. Inner eyebrow. I know that bringing the outer gaze onto things creates more tension with everybody's opinions. And judgments and counsel. Outer eye. I'd like to not bring in a lot of the outer gaze. Under the eye. I'd like to find the healthiest ways to support myself. To speak about what matters. To name my feelings. Under the nose. I don't fully understand the impact of all this on my child or children. But I know that I don't want to harm them. Chin point. I don't want to make anything harder for them than it already is. Under the clavicle, I'd like to find the right boundaries to protect them and myself. I know that's just a process sometimes. I know it has to be okay to get them wrong and just keep tweaking, keep course correcting. Side of the ribs. I'd like to find how to listen to my child. That doesn't mean I have to do what they want me to do exactly. Crown point. I'd like to be curious about my child's experience. I'd like to breathe myself and ground so I can keep listening. I'd like to ask more questions. Inner eyebrow. And I also want to make sure I get what I need. And sometimes that may mean I can't listen right now. Outer eye. I can always come back around and open a conversation. When I feel most aligned, not most distressed. Under the eye. I forgive myself for any distress, anything I'm handling wrong. There is no right way. It's messy and confusing. Under the nose. I don't even need to forgive my ex right now. I just want to keep releasing them to their choices and their life. Chin point. I release myself to my choices in my life. Under the clavicle. Until this messy situation is over, I'd like to find how not to let it take over my whole life. Side of the ribs. I'd like to choose my focus more. I'd like to choose some uplifting things to focus on. Crown point. I'd like to empower myself during this process. I'd like to spend time and energy in areas of my life where I feel powerful, where I feel good. Inner eyebrow. I'd like to get out of fantasy, especially when I daydream about things going badly or worse, or imagine the outcomes I don't want. Outer eye. I'd like to get really good at interrupting that quickly. I don't want to vote for what I don't want in that way. Under the eye. I'd like to turn my gaze more often from what a shit he is, even though he is a shit. Right now, I don't need to talk myself out of my opinions of him, them, whatever the right pronoun is. Under the nose. I would like to give much more focus to what feels good to think about, to the ways I'm already free, to all that guides and sustains me. Chin point. I'm not reliant on that person to have a happy life, to follow my guidance system. Under the clavicle, something much bigger than the court system supports my life and guides me. What I care about is much bigger than what they're up to. Side of the ribs. I can even appreciate, however imperfect this system is, that there is something to just put this down with. I'm going to keep imagining an outcome that's in my favor. Crown point. I'm going to keep myself calm. I'd like to catch myself quicker when I'm not calm and create calming responses. Ground myself. Do EFT. Take care of my body and stretch it and breathe it. Inner eyebrow. This is my life. This is one of the important passages in my life. This matters. Outer eye. I'd like to go through it well. I'd like to not expect myself to go through it perfectly. Under the eye. I'd like to love myself all the way through. That probably means coming back to self-love when I lose track of it. Under the nose. I'd like to forgive myself quickly for anything that feels off to me. Chin point. I'd like to trust my guidance system. I'd like to pause with whatever feels off. Without trying to crack the code or figure everything out. I'd like to open to guidance. Under the clavicle, I'd like to believe guidance is forthcoming. I know I live in a responsive universe. I know I often just know what to do. Side of the ribs. Right now, I'm imagining a situation I got through that felt really big and really hard. And breathing as I witness that in my mind. Crown point. Right now, I acknowledge one thing I did right in that passage. Right now, I bless the growth and the healing that followed, the muscles that were built. Inner eyebrow. Everything I'm going through now is for my good. And that doesn't mean it's going to feel good. Outer eye. And that doesn't mean I can't get angry sometimes and rail. Under the eye. And maybe I'd like to experiment with railing very privately or with very trusted others who will not support me to see myself as a victim. Under the nose, who will not judge me, who will not try to rush me along. Chin point, who will have right boundaries so I know I'm not imposing on them. Who will love me. Under the clavicle, and I'd like to do all those things for myself. I'd like to do all those things for my child, my children. side of the ribs, whatever the details of this story. And I know I can get so stuck and so embroiled in the details. Right now, I release them. They're actually pretty typical. We're going to end on the crown. And right now, I honor that really what matters is love. That really what matters is evolution, healing. That this is our lives. That our lives matter. That I'm willing to show up for my life, my child's life. I'm willing to live in this place where the systems are not up to par. I appreciate what they do give me. And I am guided. I am supported. And I'd like to focus more and more on what guides and supports me. And topics that have nothing to do with this. So that when it's time to be in this topic, I can more often bring in my best self, my grounded self, my breathing self, my loving self, my patient with myself self, and myself who may feel victimized and stays with that until I get to my empowerment. My conviction that something bigger is walking me through every step of the way. Now let's drop our hands down and take that in with the breath, with our awareness. Okay, and please come back.